Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. Let's see what they have for us. Amazon Aurora MySQL database clusters now support up to 256 terabytes of storage volume. It's become pretty clear over the years that I don't exactly know what a proper database is or how to use one. If you have a quarter petabyte of data in Aurora, it's pretty likely that you don't either. This episode is brought to you by Augment Code. If you're a Vibe coder, this tool is not for you. Augment Code is the only AI assistant built for professional software teams. It ingests your entire repo, millions of lines, tens of thousands of files, undetermined numbers of bugs, so every suggestion lands in context and keeps you in flow. With Augment's context engine, get instant answers about any part of your code base, particularly the scary ones. Need to understand why a parameter was renamed last quarter? Augment knows. Want an agent that can replicate your patterns like a principal architect? Augment can. Where other tools stall, Augment Code sprints, and you don't have to switch tooling. Keep using VS Code, JetBrains, Android Studio, or even Vim. Don't hire an AI for vibes. Get the agent that knows you and your code base best. Start your free trial at augmentcode.com. Introducing V2 Power Tools for AWS Lambda in Java, because for once, Java is getting cool toys before the rest of us do. I'm envious. Introducing extended support for Amazon Elasticache version 4 and version 5 for Redis open source. So if you don't upgrade your cluster, the following happens. For the next 2 years, you're charged an 80% premium. For year 3, you're charged 160% premium. And at the end of that year, you're forcibly upgraded to the extended support version. All it would take for me to go from this is AWS grasping for margin to this is AWS doing something awesome would be one change. Explicitly donate all the revenue that this throws off to the upstream projects. I would become this thing's biggest champion overnight. Amazon Document DB Serverless is now available, and no, it is not. It scales down to 0.5 fake compute units, which means it doesn't scale to 0, which means it's not serverless. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? AWS Lambda Response Streaming now supports 200 megabyte response payloads. A 200 megabyte response payload is almost enough to hold all of the tracking JavaScript needed for a modern website to display 2 kilobytes of text. How Zapier runs isolated tasks on AWS Lambda and upgrades functions at scale. I don't want to hear how they run the tasks on them. I want to hear how the hell they keep their email systems from falling over and crashing into the sea under the weight of millions of AWS emails whining about a Lambda runtime they're using is going to be deprecated in 18 months. Amazon Application Recovery Controller now supports region switch. I got a demo of this because it was too expensive for me to kick the tires on in my test account somewhat recently, and it's pretty great, provided, and this is a heck of a caveat, that your application can handle the shift. This is an architectural rethink rather than a bolt-on to something pre-existing. It's wonderful, you should use it, but you're probably going to have to spend a lot of time making your technical debt repayments. This episode is sponsored by my own company, the Duckbill Group. Having trouble with your AWS bill? Perhaps it's time to renegotiate a contract with them. Maybe you're just wondering how to predict what's going on in the wide world of AWS. Well, that's where the Duckbill Group comes in to help. Remember, you can't duck the Duckbill bill, which I am reliably informed by my business partner is absolutely not our motto. Announcing general availability of Amazon EC2 G6F instances with fractional GPUs. These start at 20 cents an hour for you to try to spin up, only to have your request fail citing insufficient capacity. Amazon promotes Malthus to Senior Vice President of Bad Decisions, unveils 17th Leadership Principle. This is probably the most honest press release AWS has ever put out. Of course I wrote it. Do you think that they would be this self-aware? Amazon CloudFront introduces new origin response timeout controls, and this is a great enhancement. It made sense back in historical times, but these days, if S3 takes 30 seconds to return a result, it's not latent, it's dead. Optimize traffic costs of Amazon MSK consumers on Amazon EKS with rack awareness. Rack awareness in Kafka is absolutely your friend because cross-AZ data transfers gouging is not. Amazon Bedrock now available in the US West, North California region. And this is a great combination of two very different things with the exact same failure mode. Neither US West 1 nor Bedrock has enough capacity for your needs unless you are a very special customer. AWS White Paper, AWS User Guide to Financial Services Regulations and Guidelines in Australia. These days, the US version of this isn't a white paper, it's a whiteboard. And finally, Amazon EC2 auto-scaling adds Lambda functions as notification targets for lifecycle hooks. You know what I would love to see is a semi-standardized URL format that I could drop into various things on the internet, and they just intuitively understood that it was a Lambda endpoint, so I could do whatever I wanted with it. Think something like the way that AppRock does things, and you're pretty close to what I'm imagining. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn. Please stay salty.